Good evening. Sorry for the short delay. It is 6:03, and I'm going to call the Benicia Unified School District's Governing Board meeting to order. We're coming out of closed session, and the only thing I need to say regarding our closed session is that we're going to have to table one of the items to our next meeting, which will be on March 2nd, I believe. And that's regarding the superintendent evaluation. So we will have to, we're postponing it because we had so many other things to go over and we didn't want to keep you folks waiting. So we're just tabling that till next meeting. So, let me see where I'm at. Okay, this meeting is being recorded live for live streaming and archiving on a district YouTube channel. And I already just reported out regarding closed session. We're going to do a pledge of allegiance, and who was I gonna? I'll just do it today. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, can I get an approval of the agenda as written?
I move that we approve the agenda as written.
Thank you. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Zeta?
Yes.
Trustee Grubbs? Yes. Trustee Moss? Yes. And Trustee Maselli?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to our highlights this evening. It's Benicia High School, and Mr. Thompson, I'm going to call you up. Got some great introductions here this evening, so thank you so much.
Good evening. Yeah, my name is Sean Thompson, one of the vice principals of Benicia High School. I have the honor today of introducing two teams from our school. The first one's going to be our debate team. We have two students here, along with Ms. Sarah Martin, who's our an English teacher and our speech and debate teacher at the high school. So they've had a very impressive record at some recent tournaments. And then last week, they also did a really cool debate week where they had some cool themes and invited some students in to compete and debate in the room. So I'll let Ms. Martin and her students come up and tell you a little bit about that.
Thank you, Vice Principal Thompson. Thank you all for having us tonight. So I'm just here to introduce you to two of the smartest humans I know. First is Connor Bush, who is a senior at Benicia High School. He is maybe our club president or a little unsure. And also we have Gabriel Stockwell, who is a junior. Both have impressive competition records, and they're a delight. So with that.
Hello. So I'm Connor Bush. I've been on the team for 4 years, actually. I started my freshman year. And I just love the team. Like last week, as Mr. Thompson said, we had a debate week. And it was really cool to like see everybody come in the room. People who wouldn't necessarily be on the team or like want to participate. They were interested in like the resolutions, which is a topic that we debate. We had everything ranging from like football, addressing football in schools, to like toxic masculinity. And it was interesting, like people were really, you could see that they were engaged. People were like shouting a little bit at when somebody said something else, and like there was a lot of back and forth, which is kind of the point of debate, and that's why I like it. It's also been super helpful, like academically. Obviously, like you learn all skills, but like more than that, it's taught me about like the world, like thinking about like politics and geopolitical arenas between NATO and Russia and things like that. So it's really interesting as like a student to be able to have a place where you actually can engage in that kind of discussion. And so that's why I love it. Also, it's good for colleges. So that's also like a notable reason to do it in the first place. And it's really important for the school, I think, to have that environment where students can like engage with each other and actually clash, because I think that's where debate gets its value from. So debate, Gabe, you wanna, this is Gabriel Stockwell. He's also been on the team.
Thank you, Connor. Miss Martin just informed me that we average 80 students every day at debate week.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, for toxic masculinity over 100, I've been informed again.
Wow.
So yeah, and you know, this is my second year in debate. I really enjoyed it. Me and my partner, we went to nationals last year. We got 25th at nationals, and that drew in a bunch of people. Our team has grown from like 3 people at the like middle of last year to over 15 or 10 or something like that. Like, across the board, novice, JV, and varsity. It's been really cool to see the team grow, having that community of, individuals who are looking to think about certain topics, wonder. During practice earlier today, we talked about if well, we talked about Canada, but we also the novices talked about whether or not, transgender minors should have access to hormones that would change things. So, it's really fun to talk about these really complicated topics and also some more fun topics, such as the stuff that happened at debate week. It's been really cool to see that community and also do well and then get good grades and do well at college. So that's always fun too. Thank you.
Thank you.
For our next highlight, I'm excited to announce our BHS wrestling team. Representative students and coaches are here. Head coach Alyssa Gonzalez, who's the head coach of our girls team, is here. She's a former student athlete. Makes me feel old. She was also one of my former students before I became a vice principal. And here to talk about their recent competition at North Coast Dual Championships, where they won the title by 1 point over Las Lomas High School. So in a very exciting fashion. They're now moving on to individual championships, and I'll let Coach Gonzalez and the wrestlers come up and tell you about that.
Hi everyone, my name is Alyssa Gonzalez, and as Mr. Thompson said, I was his student I graduated 2014, but I don't know what year I had you. I had the privilege of coming back because my niece was actually a freshman last year, and I signed up to be a volunteer, and that responsibility moved on to head coach this year. So it's been a lot. It's been a big transition, but I'm lucky to have these amazing kids on the team, even if they show up late. They're here. They will be trickling in. I only brought 6, 4 currently here. But yeah, tomorrow the girls will be competing at Albany High School for individual sections, and boys will be competing at James Logan High School in Union City for their sections. For the girls, top 4 will make it to the state tournament in Bakersfield, which will be next weekend. And for the boys, top 2 make it. And yeah, it's the most exciting part of the season, so look forward to it. First, I'll introduce Nick Trujillo. He's a sophomore. He's our 115-pounder. And he is the 6 I brought today all won league last week, and they will be competing at the section tournament.
I'm Nick, and I've been wrestling for about 8 years now, and it's really fun, and I'm pretty excited for this weekend.
I'm Sonoma. I'm a senior. This is my technically 5th year wrestling. I was out 2 years for a knee surgery, and I'm really grateful to be back, and I'm grateful for Coach Alyssa to be able to coach us this year. And yeah, I'm excited for this weekend and hopefully next weekend.
Hello, I'm Ryan. Ryan Espiritu. I've been wrestling for 12 years now. Last week the team did pretty good and we wrestled well. Just thankful for all the coaches and everybody who's helped all of the team get to where we are. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Vicente Rodarte. I've been wrestling for around 4 years, and I'm grateful for Alyssa and all that she's provided for us, and I'm excited for this season and next season.
I forgot to mention that when I was in high school, my dad was I had the privilege of having my dad as my coach. And since this is my first year, I decided to bring him back and help me with this. So make it a family affair. So.
Thank you for having the wrestling team. I was Coach Holden's assistant coach when my daughter was wrestling. So I've been coaching. I started at Vallejo High School, and I've had the privilege of coaching numerous state and national champions, and just got my first world champion this year. So it's been a great honor to be around the sport and passing my knowledge on to these kids. Thank you very much for having the team out here and honoring them for their accomplishments.
I know there was two other students that came in. Would they like to talk?
Survey, my granddaughter, so it's a three-generation.
Oh my gosh.
Oh. Hi, my name is Savay Gonzalez. I'm a sophomore.
Congratulations.
Oh, wow.
I'm Chloe Sola. I'm a junior, and my biggest accomplishment is making it to state my first year wrestling.
Mr. Thompson, thanks for bringing these students forward. Thanks to the coaches with wrestling. I appreciate everything that you guys do. And to all our students, whether it's debate or it's wrestling, or as we're going to start seeing more student accomplishments at this section of our meetings, we decided to add this so that we can do that with all our students, you know, schools, different various things, whether it's arts, drama, music, sports, etc.
I
So
also think it's worth noting Savay pinned a male opponent in the final match to win by that 1 point. So.
excellent. Thank you so much for being here, you guys. All right, we're going to move on to the reports. And the first up are our student reports. And I've got two of you guys here, right? Two of you guys. Who wants to go first? This is Benicia High School. Okay, this is our associate body, the student body president. Where am I? Brianna Biniak, please, it's all yours.
So I'm going to be reading for Nevaeh from Liberty today.
Oh,
so this is the report, yeah. Good evening, President Zeta, Superintendent Dr. Wright, fellow trustees, and cabinet members. On Valentine's Day, our leadership class delivered cards and goodie bags for the residents living at Casa de Villarasa. We hope to partner with them for more fun events. Last week, we traveled to the Sacramento River to work with UC Davis's Spinning Salmon project. We gathered more data and released our hatchlings. Yesterday, UC Davis came to our school and shared with us their findings and how Liberty High School contributed to their research. We look forward to participating in this program again next year. We want to wish our classmate, Michael Espinosa, good luck tonight. He is competing at the Solano Poetry Out Loud, located at Fairfield Civic Center Library. He has been working hard and hopes to proudly represent Liberty. We want to thank Benicia High for inviting us to participate in their open house. We were able to talk with families and share all the great things we have going on at Liberty High. As we get ready to submit our art pieces to the Benicia Library Student Art Show, we have a couple events planned to gain inspiration. On Tuesday, we went to the SF Museum of Modern Art. We saw works from Diego Rivera, San Francisco's Mission District in the 1980s, and photography influenced by industrial architecture. Our art classes will follow up with a trip to Arts Benicia Gallery and talk with local artists and see how they found their artist path. Lastly, we want to thank Mo and the local master gardeners for working with us in our garden and greenhouse. We have been pruning and planting. We look forward to spring. We invite you all to see how much our garden has grown. On behalf of Liberty High School, thank you.
Thank you. Now, do you want to speak on behalf of Benicia High School? Jin Zhao. Gao. Sorry. Gao.
Good evening, President Zeta, Superintendent Dr. Wright, fellow trustees and cabinet members. My name is Jinjin, the ASB Vice President for Benicia High School. On this week, Tuesday, leadership delivered Valentine roses to students that purchased them for their friends. It was great to see students walking around campus with their roses and chocolates. We had our open house and elective fair for upcoming students on Thursday, February 9th, and students and parents came to check out our AP courses offering and other electives as well. BHS will be hosting the student run and student performing 24-hour play on Saturday, February 18th at 7 p.m. in the auditorium. There also is a college and career field trip on Wednesday, February 22nd to St. Mary's College and to Cal State East Bay. The Lantern Festival Winter Dance will be held on Saturday, February 25th from 7 to 10 p.m. And also, we want to congratulate to all of our winter sport teams that made to CIF playoffs, and also the effort done by our debate team as well. Tomorrow, the boys varsity soccer team has a home playoff against Sonoma Valley High School at 7 p.m. This Saturday, February 18th, the boys varsity basketball also have a playoff at Campanito at 7 p.m. That's all. Thank you.
You did everything for Benicia High. Okay, don't confuse me like that. Okay? All right. Thanks for being here, and you know the drill. You guys are welcome to leave. Thanks. See you next time. All right, we're going to move on to our next, to our superintendent report. Dr. Wright, you're up.
All right. Good evening, everyone. I want to start by just thanking our community partners. As you know, we have great partners. I want to start with Kiwanis. They replaced our AED machine over at BHS football field, and very much appreciate them for their support. Also want to thank Benicia Rotary, who've approved the second AED machine that will go to BMS. So we definitely appreciate their support. I want to thank the Benicia Police Officers Association for their generous donation to our girls soccer team at BHS of $500. BHS, we're hiring. We do have some open positions for this current school year, but we're also gearing up for next year as well. We have a recruitment fair scheduled for February 23rd at 3:30 to 7:30 here at the district office. That's 350 East K Street. We're hiring teachers, administrators, classified support positions. So if you're curious or just want to come and inquire about some of our openings, please join us. We'll be happy to talk with you about joining our team. I also want to again thank everyone for their patience with the pedestrian bridge that was damaged a couple of weeks ago. I want to thank the staff who's volunteered their time essentially to go out there and serve as crossing guards to make sure that our students and families are able to cross Military West safely. I do want to thank the city of Benicia as well and the police department. They're out there and their presence as well. Our city, they're actually engaging our community in dialogue regarding the pedestrian bridge. If you have any suggestions, hardships, concerns, they were out there today from 2 to 3 o'clock, and they're also scheduled to be out. It's at 9th Street Park. They have a pop-up tent, and they'll be out there Tuesday, February 21st at 7:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. and just engaging with the public and answering any questions or addressing any concerns that you may have. So if you do have some questions, I do encourage you to stop by and have a conversation. And thank you, and that's all I have for today.
Thank you. Board reports. Does anybody have anything to share? Mr. Maselli? No? Okay, I have a few things. I attended the LCAP meeting with Dr. Beatson last week, and I'm telling you, there are some amazing folks on that team. I'm looking forward to hearing all the ways that we can try to spend our money and like what kind of programs and stuff. So it was really great. So thank you for doing that. And let's see, last Saturday, some of our debate and speech kids left, but there was a Lions Club speech contest at the Benicia High School multi-purpose room. It's the PAB, the PAB building. And I was asked to be a judge, and I was one of 3, and we had 5 students that participated that day. And the speeches were on, the topic was social media connects us or isolates us. And they all had such unique ways of sharing those their speeches. It was wonderful to watch them shine, and I so appreciated being a part of that. So keep it at Benicia High School. And let's see. Today I attended an open conversation that Dr. Wright was referring to that was held over by the 9th Street Park under some white tents. There were some parents that were there sharing their concerns about the pedestrian bridge, and there were several city leaders there that were giving us some updates of what they knew at this point was happening. And I can say that they said that sometime next week there's going to be a stop sign kind of something or other at that intersection to help students and families cross right there by the school. And also that they're providing, which I think is really great, some crossing guards for us on a temporary but permanent kind of basis at this point until we can get this rectified. So I want to thank the city for all that they're doing and trying to help us create safety for our families. And that's all I have to share.
Can I
Yes,
ask?
yes, yes.
The bridge is under the auspices of the city, not us. We have
Correct.
no control. I don't know that everybody remembers that. I just wanted to thank you.
Yep.
I have a question as well. So since it was a garbage truck that took the bridge, the overpass out,
Right.
are they working with the city, or is the city finding them to be responsible? And
Yeah, my understanding, it was a garbage truck, and they are working closely with that company to make sure that they are putting some things in place. For instance, the crossing guards, my understanding is that they're help funding the crossing guards to make sure that our students get to school safely. As a district, until everything gets in place, we want to make sure, so we're making sure our staff's out there as well, and we're a presence as well as our police officers and Public Works Department. Right now, it's all hands on deck, and it's a team effort. But yeah, my understanding is the city is working with that company to rectify what happened.
thank you.
Okay, so any other questions on that? Okay, so we're going to move on to our comments from members of the public. Members of the public may address the board at a regular meeting on any item within the board's jurisdiction. Speaker cards are available at the entrance table. Please note an item you wish to speak to and submit a card to the board secretary. The board president will call an open session general comments during public comment time. Comments for items on the agenda will be called during a specific item. Comments are limited to no more than 3 minutes per speaker, or the board may limit the total time to 20 minutes per item with the timer displayed on our monitors. By law, no action may be taken on any item raised. During the public comment periods, matters may be referred to staff for placement on a future agenda of the governing board. Please be reminded to keep your comments respectful, as students may be watching the board meeting. And we do have a couple of comments this evening. So our first person, Janet Robertson, if you'd come up to the mic. Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
My name is Janet Robertson, and I have 3 children in the district. I have a 3rd grader at Mary Farmer, a 6th grader at the middle school, and a 9th grader in the high school. So we're all over the place. I'm here tonight because of a flyer that was put out, and actually some events that are being encouraged by the school district that came out last week. And I know I had sent an email, so I appreciate those of you that replied, especially Dr. Moss and Ms. Zeta did reply, and Dr. Wright as well. So last week, the school district, at least from our schools, it came out and it was said that it was BUSD approved and that these are wonderful opportunities for the children to attend 2 events. One is a scavenger hunt and the other is a movie screening. Sponsored by Benicia Black Lives Matter. So the concern that I and some other parents have is that Black Lives Matter and Benicia Black Lives Matter have publicly stated, and it's clear on their websites, published on the websites, that they support practices such as defunding the police, eliminating DARE in our schools, disrupting the nuclear family, supporting Marxism, teaching the 1619 Project, and hiring based on skin color. And so I brought this up earlier in the week. I reached out to Benicia Black Lives Matter. I actually used the contact information that's on the flyer for the kids to get in touch with them for the scavenger hunt. And I reached out to them 3 times, didn't get any replies. Dr. Wright, I do appreciate that you did reply at a certain point and said that it's an outside entity and you couldn't comment on it. And I appreciate that today you pointed me toward the board policy 1325, which I then went and read. The board policy 1325 states in numbers 2, 3, and 5 under the criteria for approval that there's a prohibition of materials that incite unlawful acts, promote political interests, and position the district on any side of a controversial issue. And based on statements made and published by Benicia Black Lives Matter and Benicia or Black Lives Matter at large, it is apparent that they are an inflammatory political group that supports unlawful acts such as hiring based on skin color. So I would posit that that violates board policy 1325. So I'm concerned about that. And I know that the flyer does have a blanket disclaimer on it, but it was shared with children and families. The email again was encouraging. It said these are wonderful opportunities, that it's BUSD approved. And so it appears obvious that the board and the school district should disavow any sort of Benicia Black Lives Matter events until there's some sort of clarification that they don't support these destructive practices. And that's just very concerning to me. So thank you. And I wanted to point out that I do see Dr. Wright every morning out there at the crosswalk doing the things, and you didn't mention what you're doing. So thank you for participating in that. And thanks again to Dr. Moss and to Ms. Zeta for replying to my email. Okay, thank you.
Okay, and Andrew Miller is our next speaker.
Hi, my name's Andrew Miller. I'm the parent of 2 children in the Benicia Benicia School District. And I wasn't going to come tonight. I'm tired and I'm hungry. But when I get home, I usually turn on the news, and the first thing I saw tonight was the headline that I handed out to you guys: Ohio police probe report black students assaulted and forced white students to say Black Lives Matter. I also do not like the fact that the district is promoting Black Lives Matter, because I personally feel, as do many other people, but I'm here speaking for myself, that they're a hate group, and I don't think they belong, that the school belongs pushing this group or publicizing it. I made this decision about this group from hundreds of days of burning and looting and causing mayhem all over the country, and it makes me sick. Them and any other hate group. I don't want my kids' school pushing it. Any of them. It doesn't belong. And if any of you don't understand what I'm talking about, you can look it up on YouTube. It's hundreds and hundreds and thousands of hours of mayhem. And that's why I'm here tonight, to ask you please not to do that with any hate group. I appreciate it.
Thank you both for your comments. We are now going to move on to our consent calendar. Background information on these items is provided to the board prior to our meeting. A common motion takes action without discussion on a roll call vote unless discussion of items is requested by the board members. Can I get a motion to approve the consent calendar as written?
I move that we approve the consent calendar as written.
Thank you. May I get a second?
I'll second.
And was there any discussion? There's nothing on this.
Do we have to pull B?
It's
Gifts to the district. Do we do some?
Which one?
Let me
Not pull it, but like, do we do that separately? The gifts to the district? B on that? No.
Let me look.
Imagining
If
that.
you guys didn't want to approve the $500 that were given.
I seem to remember that we used to do those, like say those individually and highlight it.
Oh, he highlighted it in his superintendent report.
Oh, okay.
But
Those.
you could do that.
No, that's fine. I'm sorry.
All right. So can I get a motion? Mark, you made the motion.
To approve as written, yeah.
And may I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
President Zeta.
Yes.
Trustee Grebs.
Yes.
Trustee Moss. And Trustee Maselli.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. We're moving on to item number 12. Presentations and there, well, we can ignore item number 12 because there is nothing that we're talking about this evening. So let's move on to item 13, our action items. And the first item up is our site district and safety plans. Mr. Thompson from Benicia High School. Thank you.
All right, so I'm shifting hats from VP to safety coordinator for this next presentation. As always, I have a pretty concise and brief presentation for you to go over a few things. So 2 parts to today's presentation. The first is to review some of the changes in the aspects of our comprehensive school safety plans, as well as the district emergency operation plan, and then of course provide a brief update as to some of the safety work and progress we've had in the district since I last presented in February of last year. I always like to include this slide just to kind of visually represent the unity within our district, to making sure that our plans are synchronized and have the same protocols. As our students go up through different schools, or as employees might leave one site and go to work at another site, they are training and understanding the same protocols, not only for emergency response, but now with our addition last year, for our response to any traumatic emotional incidents that we might need to support staff or students with. It is a very quick update this year. There weren't any major changes. We had a lot of overhaul last year, and going through a lot of what the county and the state puts out to kind of check our plans. We're actually in compliance and up to date with all of our ed code. Really the only change that you're going to find in each of these plans is an addition of a data and analysis section. So each site, their safe school or their site council or their safe school committee looked at expulsion data, suspension data, and referral data, and really asked the question of, did the data, show anything that would require us to add any changes to the plan? And so the good news is all the data was within what we'd expected. No changes were needed within the plan, and that data and the analysis from each site is included on each individual plan. And then finally, for the safety updates, always want to point out our excellent partnership with Benicia Fire, Benicia Police, Benicia City. Dr. Wright did that earlier. I know a few others did with the response with the bridge. It was great to see both the district jumping in to support, and then the kind of response from the city. Also want to tip my hat to Benicia Fire Department. They worked on a grant that got us hundreds of air purifiers that are now, with help from maintenance operations in the rooms of the schools. So, luckily we got through this season without any, huge air contamination, but, should something like that happen again, then we have these purifiers, which are a lot better for our staff and our students. We're back to basics in a good way. COVID, as we know, really kind of changed things up and messed us up with what we want to do. This is the first year that all sites have been able to execute all drills that we want them to do. So at this point in the year, all sites have done a fire drill, earthquake drill, a lockdown drill, and then some aspect of a active shooter or intruder drill. So really proud to be able to say that and want to be able to continue that work going forward. And then infrastructurally, as we know, Mary Farmer is going through a bunch of changes, which will result in a lot of safer situations for that site. In addition, the district, with help from a vendor, completed a fencing project we've been working on, and asking for a while, which has not only added crash gates and bars to a lot of our sites, so if there's an emergency, staff and students can evacuate more safely, but also have plugged a lot of gaps and other things that we were able to identify that just make our campuses safer. So that's kind of what I have for you for the safety update. Really appreciate your support, and I would ask for obviously approval of those 7 plans in the emergency operation plan for the district.
Any discussion or questions for?
No, I don't have any questions, but I do just want to say thank you for always creating just a cohesive plan, and the fact that all of our school sites are, in unison. That's so important. So I really do appreciate that. I mean, it's so important. So thank you.
Appreciate that.
I agree.
Yes.
Right, thank you.
Okay, so at this time, can I get a motion on consideration and approval of the site and safety district safety plans?
I move that we approve the site and district safety plan.
Hold on a second.
Roll call, please. What is that noise? Is that the computer? Oh, that's okay. Sorry. I was like, what is that? Can I get a roll call vote, please?
Yes. President Zeta.
Yes.
Trustee Grubbs.
Yes.
Trustee Moss.
Yes.
And Trustee Maselli.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Thompson.
very much.
Appreciate you being here this evening. Next up is consideration and approval of the curriculum adoption of the curriculum for the 9th and 10th grade English courses. And this is I'm going to call it Mrs. Rice. She's hiding behind the podium, and there she is. You're going to be up here for a little while, so get comfortable.
Good evening, board, and good evening, cabinet. My name is Stephanie Rice. I'm Director of Education Services, and I am bringing forward a curriculum for 9th and 10th grade English. It is known as ERWC, which is the Expository Reading and Writing Project Curriculum. I had the privilege to work with BHS's English department, and I do say privilege. They really work together as a tight team. Whereas I'm bringing forth curriculum for 9th and 10th grade, we've already adopted ERWC for 11th and 12th grade that are our non-AP classes. So our AP teachers and our 10th and 11th, or excuse me, 11th and 12th grade teachers also came to the table to reflect on the lessons and give their input on how it aligns with obviously the ERWC, but more so how it prepares our students to go into AP courses if they so choose. Some of the highlights from this curriculum, I'll start with student engagement. One of our 9th grade teachers, along with Sarah Martin that was here presenting on the debate team, shared that they've had the most engagement from their 9th graders that they've had in teaching curriculum. Another teacher shared the writing that she's gotten from her students this year has surpassed anything that she's seen. They all come back and attribute it to a couple things. One, that this curriculum not only gets the kids thinking critically, but it engages them in current topics. So it takes current topics that align through their different subject matter, such as it connects with psychology, it connects with history, social science, government, and health were some of the areas that they pointed out and that they can connect to. They're not only reading novels, which they respond to are coming from a diverse range of cultures, genders, and backgrounds. And with that said, they have the capability where they follow this framework and they have these modules, but they can also bring in additional articles to reflect the kids that they have before them each year. So that was definitely a positive. And then the other piece is it provides student choice. So yes, teachers can always make student choice activities, but this also provides the teachers with ideas of how things can be presented in different ways. It aligns with the state standards for ELA and our English language learners, ELD. It has support as well. So I am here on behalf of Ed Services and our English department to ask you for the approval of the adoption of the ERWC curriculum for 9th and 10th grade at Benicia High School.
Thank you. Is there any discussion, any questions? Nope. Okay, so can I get a motion, please?
I move that we approve the curriculum for the 9th and 10th grade English courses.
Thank you. May I get a second?
I second it.
Thank you. Can we get a roll call, please, Mrs. Martinez?
President Zeta?
Yes.
Trustee Grubbs? Trustee Moss? And Trustee Maselli?
Yes.
And now you're going to switch hats to a different subject. Middle school human growth, development, and sexual health.
Thank you. So yes, I'm bringing that forward. This is for our sexual health that will be taught in 7th grade at Benicia Middle School. Just to give you some background of how we got to the curriculum, which is Positive Prevention Plus, also known as P3, because that is a mouthful. We first, as a system, when we were going to adopt, we worked with our health department, our school nurse, Terry Dean, and they did research along with us because we wanted to make sure that what we were looking at was medically accurate. Our health department linked us up with Cardea Services, which is a service that is not affiliated with a particular curriculum, but they do train teachers in teaching sexual health, and they can train in curriculum as well, but there's no money exchange with the curriculum companies. So We also utilized them to dig into that. And then, with their help as well, we looked at the California Department of Education recommended curriculum list, and we only chose curriculums to review from the approved list. We narrowed it down to 3 curriculums, and we followed our procedure as I share with you time and time again. The difference this time, though, is we took our adoption protocol and we added some of the protocol that CDE, the California Department of Education, recommends that you look for when you are adopting human growth development and sexual health curriculum. So we added some more to our 3-page robust adoption protocol. My 7th grade team, along with teachers from the other science department, as they sometimes teach different grade levels, they all came to the table. They looked at the curriculum and narrowed it down to 2. We then got presentations from those 2 curriculums, and the teachers dug deep into both. I will tell you, curriculums are very similar. There wasn't what we looked at, they were all positive curriculums. What set Positive Prevention Plus aside for middle school was the accessibility for students and teachers, as well as the engagement piece. So they have young teenage avatars that talk in the videos. Each lesson starts with a video that you play with the avatar that introduces the concept. It also wraps it up at the end and links with questions. Another reason why we chose this curriculum is it also starts out before teaching and identifies that the students identify their adult that they're going to connect with. So we're trying to have our curriculum connect with families so that what is happening in the classroom has an avenue to be discussed at home. There's homework that goes with this, but it's not homework that will be graded. It's something that can be sent home so parents are aware of what's being taught each day. So those were some of the things that set it apart for our 7th grade teachers. Also, to add to this, to be transparent, we did have parent information nights, and we will continue doing that once curriculum is adopted, so you know. We had parent information nights, though, for our entire district since we're looking at curriculum to adopt. And from that, we had question and answers at the parent nights, and then we had the opportunity for parents to reach out to view the curriculum further. I had about 25 families reach out to either come in or get the digital versions, and then I had about 6 families share some of their feedback. Their feedback is twofold. One was concerns that gender and identity are brought into being taught in the sexual health curriculum. And I did share with them that that is part of the California Healthy Youth Act, and that is what we follow. There's further questions that we went back and forth, as parents have the right with this curriculum to either opt out of the entire curriculum or part of the curriculum. So we shared that. I'll save the other one for the next curriculum, as they're kind of the same. And on the other side, it was, what if this curriculum isn't adopted? Where can I get it so that I can make sure my child has it? So we've had both sides, and we want to acknowledge that all kids are at different spaces in their development. We as a district have decided to teach this to our 5th, 7th, and I'll come back later for 10th grade. But we also acknowledge that parents have the right to decide whether their kids are ready to get it or not. So with that said, and to add on one last thing, like I said, if we adopt the curriculum, each year we'll have a parent information night so that they can be presented with all the materials, have time for question and answers, and then make that decision on what's best for their child and their family. So I'm bringing forward to you the hope of approval of Positive Prevention Plus for our middle school human growth development and sexual health teaching. Any questions?
Thank you. Any
So,
questions?
to reiterate what I believe I heard you say, this is not just something randomly that we decided to do. This is a state mandate.
State
Teaching.
mandate, yes, for 7th grade.
Right,
Or state mandate for middle school.
right,
State mandate for high school.
right.
The state mandate, we're choosing as an LEA to teach it. I'll talk about 5th grade next.
Okay.
But the state mandate is that we follow their guidelines. So for this curriculum, yes, state mandate.
It seems, looking at comments, that some people just thought we just randomly decided to do this. I just wanted that
No,
out there, that this
absolutely not.
comes from the state. We have to do it.
Yes, this curriculum that I'm bringing forward to you right at this moment, we have to do in middle school, not this curriculum, but this guideline. Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't recall offhand, but it's taught through, is it still through PE or is it through their
Thank you for asking.
comprehensive
This
classes?
is through science. So
Sci-
7th
okay.
grade science
Uh-huh.
teacher will teach this.
And then is it going to be both male and female students in the classroom at the same time while it's happening?
Yes.
Okay.
7th grade, it will be their science class that they are with, and that is the recommended way to teach it.
Can I also just add, not only do we provide, Mrs. Rice sets up the training for parents, the teachers will also have.
Thank you.
Maybe you were going to say that on the next one, I'm sorry. But the
No,
teachers
thank you.
also have training from Cardia Services in how to teach this as well.
And that will be, each teacher that's new to that will have a full training, and that is required by law, as well as we'll do follow-up trainings each year with some Q&A. Yeah.
Attest to that, being the person in my district that has to teach it at my school, that there is substantial training.
It actually just led me to another. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Cece.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just wondering, like, Mr. Maselli had brought up a good point about just knowing that we're following the guidelines of what the law for the California Department of Education states that our California K-12 schools are supposed to be doing. So I'm just wondering, do we provide? I know I'm sure we do, but maybe like sometimes when these new things come into place or new policies or changes, do we have an opportunity for parents to really kind of come in so that they know, or they're just kind of kept in the loop so they don't feel like it's a surprise or anything like that. So.
And I am open to feedback. I've sent out several communications through Parent Square about how we got here and the process that we were going through, and then having the parent night where it wasn't just a sit and get, but where parents could ask questions. Now, with the 7th grade, they were able to ask questions back and forth. With the 5th grade that I'll present, they were as well, but it's through a chat. And I am giving feedback to that company as well, as I would prefer to be able to have that dialogue back and forth right in the moment. But from there, I also shared with parents that they can reach out to me to share their feedback. And I've talked to parents on phone, I've emailed, and we've had parents in person as well.
And additionally, information will go out, I think it's 14 days before it's taught, again, where parents can opt out.
Yes, and all that will be explained again when we set the date after training the teachers of when it will actually be taught. So the parents will get the information on what it is, their rights about opting in, opting out, and etc.
Sorry, that just made me think of another question. So say that they decide to opt out. How was that going to impact their grade, or because it's kind of part of their curriculum and it's not.
It won't impact.
Okay.
No, nope.
Oh, good.
This is yes, it's not graded. It's informative, but not graded.
So, and parents can come to the district office and preview the books, the curriculum, etc.
Correct. And or they can also ask for a link that we can send them virtually if that's more convenient. But yes, both ways.
So thank you for sending those notices out. That was important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
I'm just making sure. Okay. Thank you, Mrs. Rice.
Absolutely.
Can I get a motion, please?
I move that we approve the curriculum for middle school human growth development and sexual health.
Thank you. May I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Roll call, please, Mrs. Martinez.
Yes, President Zeta.
Yes.
Trustee Grubbs.
Yes.
Trustee Moss. And Trustee Maselli.
Yes.
Thank you. We're going to move on to the next item, which you're here for. I'm going to let you take it away.
Thank you. So this is for the consideration and approval of the adoption for our 5th grade Human Growth Development and Sexual Health curriculum. This curriculum is Puberty Talk is the title. I've already shared the background of how we got there. The only difference in our process was it wasn't middle school science. We had 5th grade, all teachers could participate. Not all teachers participated, but they sent representation from all elementary sites. We went through the same process of getting our curriculum from the California Department of Education. We did the same process of narrowing it down to 3. We had presentations from 3 different curriculums, and then we narrowed it down to 2. And the teachers dug in deep, and the way they did it was they looked over the entire curriculum, and then they partnered in pairs and dug deep into the lessons and then presented those out to the teachers, and were able to ask questions and kind of push and pull on what would work best for our 5th graders. You may ask why we didn't end up with Positive Prevention Plus for our 5th grade and why we have that for middle school. Both curriculums were excellent in our ratings. The difference with Puberty Talk, was it came down to the engagement piece that our teachers felt for our students. Instead of having teenage avatars in the slides, etc., it's not human forms, it's more these cute kind of little blobby creatures that introduce things and is more animated. With that said, though, when things are taught, they're not photos or pictures, but they're diagrams that are medically accurate. So it's not made to be silly, but there's just more engagement pieces they felt for 5th grade versus what we're doing for our 7th graders. And again, we had the parent information night. We had several families. I believe we were up to around 70 families attending for our 5th grade information night. We had, like I said, 25 families follow back up to see the curriculum further. Some of the same comments. One of the other comments that came from parents in regard to 5th grade was, could we have different pictures or photos? My answer, and I explained one, and not to correct, but they're not pictures or photos or diagrams, and they're medically accurate diagrams, so there aren't different diagrams that we could so choose. So to that answer, it was no. There was another answer, was there other curriculum? I explained the process that we went through, and that the other curriculums also have these medically accurate diagrams in them as well. There's very little nuances that really set them apart from each other because they're on the recommended list and they follow the standards and the California Healthy Youth Act. So again, I follow up with the parents on, we are a partnership, we respect our families, and the same thing follows with Puberty Talk, in that they identify their trusted adult that sets the stage, that they should be talking to their families, that they can talk to doctors about these questions, and they should be getting medically accurate information versus just what's out there on social media, and that's identified. They do have homework in this as well. Again, not graded. There aren't points. This is just informative, but to connect every lesson with the families at home, because the number one teacher of our students are their families. So we want them to have those conversations and follow up. So if you would have any questions, because I kind of shared it all in the first one, please feel free.
Are there any questions, you guys? No? You did a good job sharing.
Thank you.
Can I get a motion, please?
I move that we approve the 5th grade Human Growth Development and Sexual Health curriculum.
May I get a second?
I'll second.
Roll call vote, please.
President Zeta.
Yes.
Trustee Grubbs. Trustee Moss. And Trustee Maselli.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, finally, the last thing that tonight that we're going to go over is I'm going to call Dr. Gill, on Dr. Gill, not call Dr. Gill, but I'm going to call on Dr. Gill to explain this for us.
Thank you, Madam President, trustees, Dr. Wright, cabinet and community members. So this is our annual type of drill that we do. We hire several temporary teaching positions every year, or other certificated temporary positions, either to fill in for teachers who are performing other duties such as TROSA, or to fill in for teachers who might be on Willie Brown STRS reduced workload assignment, or if we created a position by using any one-time funding. So this is per ed code. We have to release these teachers temporary release, and then based on the plans for next year, we will advertise some of these positions, and certain people will reapply, and we will refill the positions as needed.
Thank you. Can I get a motion, please?
I move that we approve Resolution 22-23-10, release of temporary certificated employees.
Thank you. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
President Zeta.
Yes.
Trustee Grubbs. Yes. Trustee Moss.
Yes.
And Trustee Maselli.
Yes.
Great. So that brings us to the close of our meeting. I want to put a special thank you out to the rest of the board for dealing with all the stuff that we deal with on a day-to-day basis, and working together. And I just want to thank everybody that sits on this panel or this group with me. It's not always easy, but I just really appreciate everybody.
Thank you for being president, doing a great job.
Yes. I wasn't fishing, but and also our next meeting is going to be on March 2nd, and I hope all of you have an amazing 3-day weekend coming up. Thanks. Good night. Thank you.